What is up, Bill Howard? How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good.
That's good stuff. Obviously, you already know we partner with you and Disciples Village. But there's a lot of people at Journey, partners of Journey, who maybe don't know who you are, maybe don't know what you do. And so I wanted to just take a few minutes. First of all, thank you for taking a few minutes with us to share. But second of all, just to ask you a few questions and let people know about you and the mission you represent in a couple of countries now, actually. So first question would just be, Bill Howard. Who is Bill Howard? Let us know about who you are, your family, all that good stuff.
Well, I'm Bill Howard. I know a lot of you folks at Journey, y'all been around a long time with us and supporting us. So first off, I want to thank you for all that. Thank you for your faithfulness. But since 2010, I founded Disciples Village in 2010. I had pastored 25 years. Before then, 21 years at the church I was at, and then the Lord called us to missions, and boy, what a radical, calling that was, and I've shared that with people many times. So our ministry is Disciples Village, and let me even pause and say I have a wife, I have 3 grown sons, I have 8 grandchildren. We live in South Carolina, Lexington, South Carolina. So yeah, that's personal life. Disciples Village is our ministry life. That's where. Yeah.
So when it comes to Disciples Village, you founded Disciples Village in Haiti, and you said 2010. Is that right? That's cool. That's a long time. 14 years now. Tell us a little bit about Disciples Village. What's there? What do you do there? What's the mission there? A little bit about all that.
Yeah. Well, what we do, our overall goal is to partner American churches with Haitian villages. Now, we started out, let me say that first, we started out as an orphanage back in January 12, 2010, right after the 7.0 earthquake that destroyed, so much of Haiti.
Crazy.
So we went through literally collecting kids off the street of Haiti after the earthquake that had orphaned. Our families just couldn't put food on the table and afford to take care of them. So that was our main and original calling, those 30 kids. Since then, those babies that you have all seen grown up, after 14 years, they're young adults. Many of them, now we still have some young kids, but many of them have already grown up, and they're in our prayers. We're doing different things with them, as I'll discuss in a few minutes. So we went from the orphanage then to the larger vision of Disciples Village, which is what I said, partner American churches with Haitian villages for long-term Great Commission influence. And Journey has partnered with the village of Two-Four-Bon, for the last several years, and sponsoring, around 100 kids there.
I know we still sponsor kids and things like that, but obviously with everything that's going on, we haven't been able to go to Haiti as well. So
exactly. And the battle there just was in the lives of kids. Now the battle, gangs have taken over Haiti. Different countries have sending in troops trying to get back control from the gangs. But man, we are literally in a battle at the gates of hell, fighting it off and trying to hold that back. So our ministry happened right after a major earthquake where 300,000 people were killed. I was on the ground 7 days after that. And it's hard to say this. It's more difficult to minister now.
Wow.
Than it was, those 14 years ago. Haiti's just ascended that much since then because of a host of things. And I know your people know a lot of them, but the assassination of the president, gangs taking over 85% of the country, it's just gotten more and more and more difficult to serve.
So obviously we can't go right now. That's why we haven't been to Haiti as a church here, because we can't, because it's dangerous, all that stuff. So what kind of stuff is happening in Haiti right now as far as what Disciples Village is going on right now?
Yeah. Well, you guys partner with Two-Four-Bon, and then we have 7 other villages that we partner with, connecting American churches with those villages to fund the work of the gospel there in the village. So we have over 750 kids in school every day that receive a Christ-centered education, that receive a hot meal every day. That employs in those villages over 150 full-time employees. That's on the payroll of all of Disciples Village, which represents 150 families that get to feed their kids and buy, clothes and go to the doctor when you can get to the doctor there. So the work is partnering with those villages. Those were the same villages that for the first couple of years of our ministry, we were getting some orphans out of those villages because the families couldn't afford to feed them or care for them. Now those villages are strong and vibrant because there's commerce, there's a thriving church, there's a school, there's a building there. So now those villages are now taking care of themselves and taking care of families and those in need. So it's the big circle of life, where everything kind of gets strong as a foundation. If Christ is there, strong as a foundation, then good things come from that,
That's right. And I love it. I love that. I love what you guys do and why you do it, all that good stuff. And the fact that Journey partners with you is part of that why. It's like we are on board with helping in those ways and doing what we can. Obviously not going right now, but what we can, when we can, to be able to support missions and to be able to support the gospel being spread, the kids being fed, families being taken care of. So that's awesome. I also understand you have another ministry through Disciples Village that you partnered, and you're partnered over in Dominican Republic now, and that's a pretty recent thing. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is, how that works, what you guys are doing in the Dominican?
Yes, we've been trying to get into the Dominican Republic for several years. And just this year, really actually getting boots on the ground. But we didn't want to reinvent the whole wheel again, meaning build our own campus, start all of that all over again. So we partner with Mission of Hope, which is one of the largest organizations in Haiti, in the Dominican Republic. And then we do the same thing there. We work through local churches, local pastors on the ground, to help them spread the gospel there in the Dominican Republic. And they're getting a lot of those Haitian families that we're ministering in Haiti crossing the border. Yes, they are illegal, but they're there trying to get food for their families and trying to live and trying to escape gang warfare. So we go out into the mountain villages outside the city of Santiago. A lot of those people come in thinking that they can find jobs in the city, but they're in danger there, and the prejudice is very, very high. And so they go back out into the farmland and get jobs on a farm. And so we're there, we go out to those poor villages and minister there and minister to those little Haitian churches and little Dominican churches and people that are just getting by.
So the types of ministry then could be almost anything, couldn't it? Like medical, kids, those kind of things.
Right. We've got a big mission trip coming up next month. We got a big medical team that'll see several hundred, people. A kids camp where you're bringing the gospel to the children, and evangelism, walking through the streets and meeting people, and so it's just taking the gospel there. And we're so developed here, we are experts at church. Now I know there's a lot of different reasons. Journey is a perfect example. Man, who does church better, than Journey? That y'all do it really, really well as far as meeting the needs of your community and sharing Christ with them. And just read about the big baptism, y'all recently had. Well, you translate that to a third world country, and they're in the very beginnings. Man, they are just hanging on. So any ministry that you bring over there, I got a church out of Maryland that does puppets. You got to go way back into the American
That's back in the day right there for sure.
puppet ministry, bus ministry. You're going back in there. But they do puppet ministry. And man, those people, you'll get a whole village of people, a whole city block of them coming out watching a puppet show, and you're presenting the gospel.
That's awesome. And you were talking about church and how we're so developed here or whatever, but I think it's cool to just be reminded real briefly, think about loving your neighborhood, is that, we have local neighbors just right around us right here, but we also have global neighbors. We have nations like Haiti, Dominican Republic. They're our neighbors. And Jesus didn't just say, go right down the street. He said, go into all the world and make disciples. And that's why we partner. We do what we do is not just local, but it's also global. And you were mentioning Haiti, you're mentioning Disciples Village in Dominican Republic. So another question for you would be just maybe what are some of the biggest needs you have in either place as Disciples Village that they have in just meeting people's needs or helping people? Like, what would you say the biggest things are right now?
Well, Haiti is the weight. Haiti's the thing we're just having to desperately work for. So let me put my thoughts there on Haiti first. When you sent me and you said, hey, think about what your greatest needs are, this is the overwhelming thought. And this is not the popular answer, but I'm giving where our heart is right now. Remember the story when the disciples were in the boat with Jesus and the storm came up, and then it came from out of nowhere, and the winds were blowing and the waves were coming over and the boat's filling up with water, and they go looking for Jesus. He's asleep. And they're just beside themselves and waking him up. And Master, don't you even care for us? And they were desperate for the presence of Jesus in their situation. Man, that's where Haiti's always been. I would watch them and they're singing and they're worshiping, just crying out to God. And truthfully, I didn't understand it. I saw it, I admired it, I respected it, but I didn't fully understand it because I didn't have to cry out to God. There's very few times in life with us as Americans where our bank account or our giftedness or our experience, our expertise, where we can't figure the thing out.
Right.
It's just, we have been so overwhelmingly blessed. There's just a few times when we can't, out of the blessings that God gives us, I know it doesn't come from us, that we can't apply what we have to it and fix the problem.
Right.
And that's where we were for many, many years, even mission teams going over our funding, our support, people on deck, man. We just grew exponentially when we were over there. Now with this shutdown, now that Satan has gone in there and has just taken over that country, and we still have those Haitians crying out for God, now I see myself doing that same, begging God. God, if God doesn't step in, Tracy,
on their behalf,
we are doomed. There's no amount of support, and our support stayed strong. Journey stayed faithful to us. Different churches across America stayed faithful to us. That will not solve the spiritual crisis in Haiti.
I think one of my favorite parts about that story you just were talking about with Jesus is that before he left, he told the disciples, let's go to the other side. And Jesus doesn't lie. And so when I think about that story and the people of Haiti that are just struggling, I don't understand it. I'm not going to lie about that. I don't understand it either. But I do know we have a God who does understand and who can use people like me, people like you, people at Journey, people in other churches to be able to at least remind them that when Jesus is in the boat, you can make it to the other side, even though there's storms, even though it hurts, even though it's bad. So that's the hope. You're right. That is the hope, is that without Jesus and without support and without consistency, some of the things just won't get done. Some people won't be reached. So we got to keep on keeping on going for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's you said what that answer is. So what is our greatest need? God's presence and God's provision, and we know He's there. We know He's there. What else we need is what you said, our faith in knowing that He's there, and then that's enough. When He was there and He acted and He moved, everything calmed down because of His presence there. His presence was enough for them. But until they accepted His presence as being enough,
right,
the greatest thing they could have done in the midst of that storm was grab a blanket or something and crawl up next to Jesus.
That's right.
That's the greatest thing they could have done. Just slept through that storm in the presence of Jesus. Man, pray for me, pray for our Haitian leaders, because it's so easy to put our eyes on the storm that's over there.
That's exactly right.
So easy. So our greatest needs is God's presence and us having the faith to know that while we're waging this war is being waged right outside of hell's gates there, that we just keep our eyes on Jesus, knowing that He's going to provide and see it through and be faithful. And
I would 100% agree with that. And I would also say, I want to say thank you to you, because you allowed Journey to partner with the organization Disciples Village, and everything you guys are doing is engaging people in the process of knowing Jesus. And that's what Journey's all about. That's what we want to continue to be about. So thanks, man, for what you do, what the organization does, all the people that work with you and around you. It's awesome to be able to partner with somebody who is like-minded in that way. And obviously we both know Jesus gets the glory for all of it. He's the one we're making famous. And that's why we want to love our neighborhood. So Appreciate you, man. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother.